Yo guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Borg. In today's video, we'll be covering Heavens Burns Red, my first impressions, reroll guides, and tier list. Let's go ahead and jump right into this so we can show you what this game is all about. So this is going to be the rewind time feature. So I'm going to skip to a certain time period. We're going to skip one, we're going to go into two. Reason for that, there's like cutscenes and stuff that, you don't really need to see, and you can essentially replay the story. That's what I want to show you guys. So right here, we're going to be getting an introduction onto the main character and one of the secondary characters, or, one of the waifus that you can collect as you are jumping into this game. Now just note, you're going to be in a school S setting. This is going to be sort of like a shonen in some ways, where essentially teenagers battling against like a supposed enemy, and you guys are like, is this going to be an EN? Well, you can actually translate stuff in BlueStacks, the platform I'm essentially running this game on. Links down in the description, affiliate, all that stuff if you want to try out the game. We're going to speed it up a little, that way we can get an understanding of what's actually going on. It'll be like, hey, why am I going into this situation? I've never been to war and stuff, but it's kind of funny in that sense because as a teenager, I don't think a lot of people go into war. And just a bit of background on MC, she's going to be like a lead guitarist. That's why she's in this elite school. And the other character, nerdy type, kind of interesting. She's kind of flamboyant, very expressive of their emotions. That's how these games sort of go though. And she's going to be like, hey, what's the situation? Nanase, I think that's what her name was, right? Okay, there we go. We got it right. Nanase. And then Nanase, the lolly waifu right here, is going to be like, oh, the situation, there's gonna be like an enemy known as the Cancers. They broke through the second line, and now we're expected to essentially face off against them. And then essentially the commander's gonna be like, all right, teenagers, it's time for you to go into battle. Now, I'm not sure if you saw it right there. There's going to be a bit of a thing where you can actually select certain dialogue between the characters, and that's the replayability factor when it comes to these chapters. That way you can see different dialogue that's going to be appearing based off of the choices, which I think is pretty cool. And there's going to be like sort of students running around, they're getting ready for war. They're going to help out in like this combat scenario. People are walking around. The story is very alive in that sense. We can actually skip towards like the actual gameplay section. And when it comes to this, I would say it's pretty high polished on the way it presents itself. Now, the things that leave it to be, sort of open to interpretation, I would say, is there's a lot of dialogue within this game. So you're going to be tackling a lot of bits where it's like, oh, what do I do? I can't understand this, that, and the third. So you can translate a lot of things in case you want to do so. But now we finally get to fight the enemy. We're going to speed up time one more time. And you can't unlock the speed up time feature, the first time you're seeing the story. But there we go. This is going to be the enemy, the Cancer. As far as auto translate has it, the enemy name on official translations might be different. So let's talk about the combat. When it comes to this, there's going to be like this 3 that you can see here. You saw like SP plus 2. That essentially means you got 2 SP or 2 skill points to essentially cast a skill. We can't cast anything yet, so we're just going to do start action right here. And this is going to be, the combat animations as the characters are essentially fighting. We land a break. Some of you might be wondering, what is a break? Break essentially means the enemy won't be able to attack that turn. And we're just going to go ahead and do the attack because we can't really cast any skills, and any skills we cast, it won't do much damage anyways. But also breaks leave them vulnerable to deal extra damage or get extra damage done to them. They can still attack, so be wary of that, but I like these break features. Now we can cast some skills so you guys can see it. We're gonna use Purple Hell Chick, and I know her name is Tsukasa. She's like the only one that I know the name of, and that might even be wrong because that was the auto translate stuff. As you can see with like the animations between like their ultimate skills or more specialized skills, they're a little bit different. They look a little bit cooler. So in that sense, it looks really nice in my opinion. They definitely put the budget in to make the characters look and feel like they're alive when they do certain skills. So right here, you can cast like the break ability. We're gonna focus on this dude because essentially he's just gonna be more of an annoying guy. You guys can see it. So we can select the targets between which enemies we hit. And there we go, we're gonna break his shield. Very important right there. I would say breaking the shield is probably one of the most important things because the shield has a lot of girth to it. And if you don't break it, essentially they're gonna be not as vulnerable to damage. We can actually switch our characters right here. So right now, this buffing character, she casts a buff. She won't really be helpful towards us. And we're gonna use her skill right here, and we're gonna focus on this dude. He's kind of annoying, all right? So we're gonna start our skill right here. And notice, depending on where the character is ordered, is how the character will cast their skills. So we have the orange hoodie waifu, essentially doing the scythe moves right here. and we take out the enemy. Very nice. I think that was a crit because she doesn't always kill that enemy specifically. And right here, we're almost done. And that enemy we just killed was kind of annoying because he can recharge the DP or essentially the shield. And right here, we're gonna cast our buff ability, and then we're gonna cast our attacks. And hopefully with that, we should be able to kill this enemy right here. So we do the little buff section, as like characters do, you know, buffing characters should do buffs. So from that standpoint, it's sort of easy to understand. And in case you guys are wondering, you know, hey Borg, is this game going to be playable for all regions? As far as I know, I don't need a VPN. I'm in the US of A, so you can try this game out. Use the BlueStacks translate feature. And then right here, we can do this overdrive ability. So right now, the character, you know, they do like their little sign signal where it's like, hey, we're gonna do an attack. And now we're gonna switch off our character right here, and we're gonna do our specials, all right? So everyone can essentially do their specials. They get an extra SP boost when that's all occurring. And obviously you want all of your damage dealers, you want the characters or enemies to be broken, that way you deal more damage. So from that perspective, there's a lot going on in the gameplay. I know it's a turn-based RPG and a lot of us are sort of used to that. And if you look at it right here, I'm level 3 and I should technically be like level 1 because I've been replaying the story for a bit. Going through and going back into the story will actually net you more EXP. So there is a grindability for this sort of gameplay. It's not just for the dialogue. So in case you want to grind up a story, you want to see different dialogue as you're going through it, it is worth it in that while. So I like that because a lot of games, when you get to replay sort of a thing, you don't really have much factor other than the sense that you can grind like resources, but you can also select different story options. And this was what left me hanging to like, oh man, I really wish this gets like an EN translations, but I know for JP games, this one brought to you by Jun Maeda, is difficult to get a translation. So right here, this cat's like, I hope you enjoyed, you know, that story segment. But let's jump into the reroll factors. All right, so I'm not sure if you saw it. We'll jump back. This is going to be like your phone. Essentially, you go into this cog menu right here. You select the second middle area, and then you scroll all the way down, and this is going to bring you to the title screen. And then from the title screen, you're like, hey Borg, what does this all mean? Just do Control-Shift-L, so it'll translate it for you so you guys can see it. Count deletion is on the right-hand corner. Make sure to close this section, and then go ahead and delete your account. And what's really cool about this, now that we've done our rerolls, it won't actually bring you to like the very start of the game. This game is very aware that it wants to reroll because, you know, a lot of gacha games want to reroll these days, and it'll actually bring you to the feature where you can actually start a reroll. So I thought that was pretty cool. So you can essentially min-max or like, hey, you know, I want to jump straight into the part where I reroll. Make sure to hit like that pink area because that's what essentially is asking you for. And then now it'll load you to the time frames when you can do so. And we're gonna go ahead and no, we don't have to speed it up. It knows where we're gonna speed up this portion. We're gonna talk to this lady, and then she's going to give us the ability where we can look at like certain things. There's different stances or styles the way like the main character does attacks. That was a tutorial on it. Now we can do our first summon right here. It's a guaranteed SS or the highest rating within the game. So who's it going to be? I like the summon animation for this one in particular because it seems more active, so to speak. So we get like the little SSR sort of symbol in this game, and then we are going to be getting who exactly? This is going to be, oh, the nun waifu, or I guess like, you know, your blinded waifu. I can't exactly see who she is, but just know she is going to be one of the characters that we actually want to roll for. So there we go. We got one of the quintessential units. In case if some of you are wondering, here's going to be like a cutscene of like them introducing themselves. But I know some of you are like, hey Borg, where's the thing where I can see what I'm going to reroll for? Let's jump into some more bits because this isn't actually the end of the reroll. Even though we can essentially get a guaranteed SS in that portion, essentially you're going to be able to jump into your phone screen right here. It's going to be like, hey, you know, you can actually select which characters you're going to be like using. And let's jump back. And then I know it's going to tell you to jump out. We're going to speed it up. They're going to be like, hey, slumber party sort of deal because it's 10 o'clock. It's time to sleep. We're going to speed this up. And remember, this is technically the first time you're jumping back into the game for the reroll. So that's why the dialogue options are not going to be checked out. And it's going to check out the dialogue options that you've already selected. Now we're in day 00 and you're going to be presented with the normal menu. I know the reroll is a little bit long. long in that sense. It might be like maybe 4 or 5 minutes to get to this portion, depending on how fast you can speed up everything. Then we talk to the cat and everything. It's gonna give us some currencies, and we're gonna go in here, we're gonna get our mail. And this is like the juicy part because we get essentially 2 10 rolls and then 1 more 10 roll based off of the ticket that we get. And then here it is, it's gonna be like, hey, you can summon. So there's a bunch of different banners. This character is actually really good, the waifu that you're seeing with like the abilities and stuff. And our targets are going to be SS Kunimi Tama and SS Sakabura Seira. She's gonna be like the one that we've already gotten. So as you can see, these are gonna be them. And then don't forget, you can do like translate to English so you can see what their skills are going to be all about. Here's gonna be another tier list, and this is gonna be Kunimi and Sakuraba Seira. And when it comes to Sakura Seiraba, I think she's really good, or Kunimi specifically, is because she's going to be a healer. And of course, healers are, you know, sort of transcendental. They're gonna be everywhere, and she's going to be a buffer. So the first 2 units that you want to reroll for, of course, they're going to be support related characters. I'm sure there's going to be other ones, but here there's going to be like different symbols that, you know, correlate to what you should reroll for, because that's going to be their attack type. Let's go ahead and jump into the summons. I like this character because she looks kind of snazzy, and we already got the character that I technically wanted for a buffer specifically. Hopefully this one I get a DPS, and we're gonna watch the actual summon animation. So that's going to be normal. We want like a golden one, or we want like, you know, the rainbow one. Man, we didn't get a single rainbow. One of the summons I did previously, it gave me more rainbows. There we go. Oh, that one actually shifted from a normal to a gold. So sometimes they can actually switch mid cutscene. So there's gonna be a lot of different characters. Just note there's going to be A rank versions or more under rare versions of the different characters. So in that regard, you gotta be kind of wary, because obviously you can collect like the correct character, quote unquote, but it won't be the character of like the one that you actually want to use. And I believe there's like memories, so there's gonna be different types. There's gonna be like the memories and heroes that you can collect, or waifus that you can collect. This one shifted to a gold again, and there we go. We got 2 of her. Yeah, we got a couple of memories and a couple of characters. I'm going to roll on this banner again because I want the waifu, and each character will introduce themselves. So from that perspective, this might add more time, and a lot of the characters seem pretty interesting. None of them look the same, and I love how every single character also looks identical. There's a lot of games or gacha games that have been releasing recently where the art style will shift between each character. You can tell like there's a lot of effort put into this game specifically because each character has voice acting, and they also have similar art style. We're gonna go ahead and yeah, pull on this banner again, because I believe this character, you know, the blonde waifu, she is going to be one of the rare characters. Not to mention, I believe she's gonna be a DPS, and I just want a DPS waifu. There we go, we got this character. We're gonna go ahead and skip for the sake of it, that because, you know, we can see everything. Not a single rainbow, dang. So I might have to reroll this account just because I haven't gotten anything that I wanted. And let's skip through this. And I just like how everyone doesn't look the same, and you can definitely tell their personality based off of like the facial features and expressions that they essentially use within the game. I'm gonna go ahead and skip. She has a very interesting looking gun. You have a crazy looking sword. And man, the details within this game, even like the A rank characters, they look absolutely stunning. And honestly, the A rank characters are all technically SS because they just have different versions of themselves. Man, I like the scythe in this one. They really just know how to like draw characters and make them look exquisite and different from everyone else. And when I saw like the specific animation for her, I wanted to keep her, but she wasn't as good, the lolly waifu with like the guns and stuff. And she's like a pretty cool character as well. But that pretty much sums up, you know, the reroll functions and some of the tier lists and stuff. So now that we're done with this, let's say you don't like what you've gotten, you can essentially go into the days. It's gonna do like, hey, you know, you can do logins and stuff. Thank you very much. So there's a lot of reasons why to jump back into the game, standard for gachas. But you know, you can jump right here into the middle section again, go to the title screen and reroll the account in case you want to do so. We're just gonna look at that tier list one more time. Here it is. So in case you guys want to know, SS Minase Strawberry, that's the one that I wanted to roll for. So yeah, that is going to be Heaven's Burns Red, first impressions, tier list, reroll guides, and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this comes to EN, but like I said, you can always, you know, Control Shift L, and you can essentially translate what's going on into the game. That way, you know, what are the different things and what are the different features, and play the game at your own pace. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 30,000 subs, we're doing a giveaway. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a fantastic day, and see you guys in the next one.